This is what I do for love. It's 5:43 in the morning, and Wagner has started the brisket. So I've got the brisket going on, and the smoker. You can see that it's still really dark outside, but the smoker has started right out there, doing its little thing. So I'm gonna let that get up to temp. Started at 250 and go from there. This guy's also got to sit out for like probably an hour before before I throw it on. So I'll probably be putting it on around 6:30 or so. Whew. Yeah, that should be okay. So yeah, that's early, man. I ain't even sipped the coffee yet. Jeez. Okay, so we can see that we're rocking at 250 on the grill, and brisket's gonna go on. It's about 6:30 in the morning right now. So this big side is actually gonna get flipped and go over here because this is the firebox and more heat comes up right through there. And also on the bottom is the fat cap. So I want the fat cap to cook and render down into the meat. It's, I don't know, maybe an hour from sunrise. Wow, that's a pretty good low light camera. Check out the moon. Holy shit. Man, it's early, but you know what? I'm hoping I can eat by 6 o'clock, 12 hours from now. All right, so it's time to check on what we got going on. Filled up the pellets a little earlier. I'm at 166 and 161. So actually, I might think about flipping this guy around. Let's have a look. Okay. I'm starting to see some burning right on that end. Maybe it's time to start spraying. So I want to protect the meat. Get some moisture on there. Get the spray going, but I'm keeping an eye on this temperature because once I hit, 175, 180, it's probably going to stall. And you'll hear that pretty often in barbecue. You know, you'll hit a stall if you're doing a big piece of meat, a pork shoulder, a brisket like this. It's just going to sit there. And what's happening is basically the cold is coming out to meet the heat. And once you pass that, then you'll start increasing in temperature again. But it is what it is. It's a process of the barbecue. So I think I'm going to start spraying shortly here. I'm going to probably just use cheap beer and apple cider vinegar. I've always had good luck with that. So we'll see. I'll keep an eye on that though. All right. Well, it's been about 4 hours and probably at 180 degrees on the brisket. So it's the time. Wrap. Oh boy. You know, I'm kind of glad that this is going a little bit faster than I expected. However, it's still a little, it's a bit of a process. But you can see, it's looking pretty good. I got my sprayer, making sure I'm not burning nothing, but yeah, 185. So I think it's time. We'll probably actually, I'm going to need my meat gloves. So I'm going to get things set up and we'll be back. All right. So I got my fancy little tripod thing going up there. Hopefully you can see me. But let me show you what's going on. So first, I'm going to get the probes out of my meat because I'm not going to need those for a second. Just going to hang out down there. Get my paper. Okay, so what we're looking at here is me going through the wrapping process of the brisket. You can see right now that I'm putting my rendered beef tallow down onto the paper, and what that does is it kind of gives it a layer that the paper is not going to pull away moisture from the meat, and it actually helps it seal a little bit better, I've found. I got that trick off of somebody else on YouTube, so I figured I might as well try it. And then a little bit of extra beef fat on top for good measure. So we're going through that, and I'm also doing the voiceover because the audio with the wind and the paper and the crinkling, it wasn't kind to me. You'll appreciate it. So I'm probably pulling 3 times the length of the brisket that I need. So it's a pretty good amount of paper that you're going to use, but what you're doing is essentially adding some insulation to your meat. So that's going good, and I'm keeping my fat cap on the top so that can still render down into the meat. I'm going to throw it on there. I'm going to put my temp probes back in and just let that thing rock until it hits temp. That's all you got to do. So that's the process. That's how you wrap your brisket. All right, so today I'm also going to be making caramelized shallots, and I got a little bit of garlic there that I'm gonna chop up. So I'll show you how I'm doing my shallots. This one's peeled, cut the ends off, cut it in half, and I think I'm gonna leave, I'm just gonna do them in half and probably about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch thick. And that way I'm still gonna get a little bit of texture, but they're gonna be like little ribbons when they're all cooked and cut up. So I'm gonna get these going. I have a little bit of my smoked beef fat in my pan there. That's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be some extra seasoning, some extra goodies. So I'll go through, get these all chopped up, and just let them cook, because there ain't much more to it than that. So we'll have some cool footage of the time lapse and do the fast view, because that's fun. So, okay, well, annoying as it is to find out that my fancy little toy here didn't do my time lapse properly, not happy about that, but show goes on, because at least now it will track me. Hopefully this thing plays right. So my shallots are cut up. I'm gonna give them low heat. Like I said, I got my beef fat in there. That's gonna do its thing. I added the garlic too. So I think what I'll do is I'll just add a little bit of salt. That'll help sweat the onions a little bit more too. I'm gonna add pepper and a little bit of butter. And that's gonna be it. I think that'll be right good for these. Okay, there we go. That is pretty much exactly what I want to see. So let's get a little bit of angle view in here. You see how these are kind of starting to fall apart and make little onion ribbons? Oh yeah, that's what I'm going for. So I'm just gonna keep cooking these down basically until they are brown, kind of ooey gooey looking mess. But man, I tell you what, you taste them and that's gonna be fire. All right, so also let's have a look at what cheese I bought, shall we? So this, real funny looking, right? $2.69, it's cheap, but this is brie with herb fromage de France. I don't know what the shit that is, but I want to say that's herbs of paradise or something like that. I don't know. I wanted a brie, so we'll try that in there. What else do I got? What is this? Gruyere cheese. Oh, that's gonna be fantastic. This here, this is just extra sharp cheddar. Can't go wrong with that. And then what else do I got? I got maple leaf smoked Gouda. So a couple of these, I'm gonna cut the rind off, especially this goofy looking bastard, because I'm not that into cheese. But yeah, that's what I got for the mac and cheese, so I'll kind of start that going. But yeah, I'm not in a huge rush. The brisket's real close though. I do have to keep an eye on that, but not in a big rush, because I'm gonna throw that in a cooler and let that rest, let that come back down to temp. And then it'll take like another 2 hours anyways. So, but we're doing pretty good on time. It's been in for about 6 hours, and somehow magically it's like done already. I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's cold outside and the grill is making the extra heat. I don't know if it's because I dry brined it in the fridge overnight. I have no idea. But it's doing its thing, and I'm trusting the temperatures, so we're rocking with it. But all right. So we just took the brisket off. I'm still getting used to this whole getup that I got, but let me show you what is going on with the onions. So you can see that they've cooked down a massive amount, and those are just gonna keep going. I'm good with that. And I got my brisket resting. Oh, look at what the paper done to it. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock right now, and hopefully that'll be ready around 3 o'clock. This will obviously be ready a whole lot sooner, although I want to cook a lot of the water out of there. So it's going to be a bit, but man, I think it's time to start the mac and cheese. That's the pasta that I got. Some fancy spirals. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm excited. All right, so my pasta is cooked, my onions are cooked, and now I probably got a little less than a full stick of butter. I use Kerrygold, so you know it's a goofy rectangular shape, but I just got this butter melted, okay? So now I'm making a roux. A roux is literally butter and flour, and I'm probably gonna add 2 heapers. I think that's good. So I need to stir this. It's a little hot, but I think we'll be okay. You can't stop when you're stirring this. Turn my heat down. So what we're doing right now is we're actually cooking the flour that we just added. You see how it's still foaming and it's turning a little bit darker? That's good. I'm fine with that. So you can kind of smell it too as you're cooking this. So it's pretty good. It's a little more foamy than I expected. I don't know if that's just from my whisk, or did I add too much flour? Did I add not enough flour? I don't know. Kind of hard to tell. But it's looking pretty good. It's looking smooth. I'm not burning the butter. Okay, that's almost there, because you want to cook it until it's starting to smell more like bread, more like grain, because uncooked flour, it ain't no good. You don't want that. So keep this moving around. Don't let it burn. Keep it moving around. Don't let it burn, because that'll be a bad day. All right, put my heat back up a little bit, because all right, I think that's good. So I'll turn my heat back up just a little bit. That's my roux. That's the base for a lot of sauces and all kinds of shit. So now I'm making a bolognese. So I'm gonna add a little bit of milk at a time. Ooh, way more milk. Shit. That did things that I wasn't expecting. More milk. See how it thickened? Okay. Shit. Damn, did I just add way too much flour to that? Maybe I did. It's looking a little lumpy. But we can fix that. Keep whisking, keep adding milk. Keep whisking, keep adding milk. That's closer to the color that I want. Okay, yeah, maybe I added way too much flour to that. It's definitely not every day that I'm making a roux and a bolognese sauce, so you know what? Forgive me, all right? Now, I want to do the same thing. I want to let this touch more milk. Okay. Now, I want to let this cook as well. Now, I think I'm okay. It doesn't look like anything broke, which is a good thing. And when I refer to something breaking, I mean that the sauce is separating. You actually get this, you cook the proteins because you did it too hot or you didn't move it around fast enough. And then you have protein solids and oils. It's what happens with dairy. But if you do this right, hopefully I did, you're not going to have that happen when you add your cheese, which I think I'm pretty good with that. That's a little thick. I can always add more milk. So I think I'm going to do that. Add a little bit more milk. Because I did the whole package of pasta. That's already a pound in there, so I'm pretty good with that. But I think that this is cooked well enough, and I'm going to start adding my cheese here. I'm over like medium low-ish. I got my cheese shredded already. This is the Gouda and the, what is that? The Brie? Gouda and Brie. So, get this in here. Get it all in there. And this is work, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you got a strong right hand. Maybe you single guys out there, you make a good mac and cheese. But now I'm just going to stir this in. And maybe crank that heat up just a little bit, because this is going to be a lot. Now, I can only do so much with that Brie. In all reality, it's pretty chunky and it's pretty, what would you say? Yeah, it's just kind of chunky, but it looks like I'm actually melting pretty good here. I'm not really seeing any chunks. I'm not seeing anything weird. Keep it moving though, because I actually do have a lot of heat coming in here. I'll probably turn that down. I can see that the steam is starting to come up. So as long, oh wow, it's got an aroma to it. It's a little funky, not gonna lie, but I think that's just from the cheese itself. So all right, that looks fantastically smooth. That's what I want to see. It's not sticky, it's not like gooey, it's not nothing. It's smooth. Wow. Maybe I actually could have added less flour and cooked it a little longer, but all right. So that's the base for my cheese sauce. Now I got to get my ass a pan. I got to put the pasta in, and we're gonna get this. We'll do 350. 350 sounds good. Breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are in the oven. I turned that off a bit ago. Let's remove that from the heat. So, oh, look at those guys. Just the perfect little wisp of toasty, crunchy goodness. Perfect. There's my breadcrumbs. So, I'm gonna set these somewhere. I'm running out of room. I'm gonna set those off to the side, let them cool a little bit, that's fine. I'll get this put together in a casserole dish. We'll throw it in the oven, and that will be it. All right, so here's the homemade breadcrumbs. I almost lost them there. So what I did with these, threw them in the oven, a little bit of Italian seasoning, garlic, celery salt. I think the celery salt would be a good add to it. And smashed them up, used a little stainless steel because I got no mortar and pestle, so stainless steel cup, crushed them up, and added a little bit of olive oil. So they've got, I don't know, almost like a sand consistency, and that's what I'm looking for. So these are gonna go on top. They already look, honestly, they're a little more toasted than I wanted them to be, but it kind of is what it is. So we're just gonna put these on top, and I put my cheese sauce in there, mixed the pasta in with the cheese sauce that I made in the pan, and then I added probably whatever I have here left. This is the Gruyere, this is the cheddar. This is the same amount that I grated and kind of put on top. So that's ready to go. That's gonna go in the oven, and it's 204. By the time this is done, brisket should be done resting. So let's say a little prayer and hope that this all turns out at the same time. Yeah, it should be good. Look at that. All right, the brisket has been sitting 2 hours. And it's time. Oh wow, she broke open. Look at that. Well, it looks pretty good. Ooh, that fat has rendered properly. Excellent. Okay, I feel like I'm losing some bark on the bottom, but you know what? That's kind of to be expected. That is what it is. So, it's time to slice. Got my knife sharpened. We got to see how this thing looks. I'm looking pretty happy. That's tender. Oh boy. Oh, it's dripping. Oh boy. I'm gonna call that a success. So, holy shit. That is delicious. This might be the best one that I've ever done. I'm so happy with myself. This is awesome. All right, cool. Well, let's get into it a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna go like this because I'm proper-handed. Let's make some slices. Holy shit. Oh my God. Now, in there, I could have cut more of that fat out. I'm not gonna serve that. I'll probably trim this up, but man, just looking at that, we got, well, baby doll's with me. And I got my buddy G over there. Say hi, G.
Bang, bang.
So we're gonna taste this, and then I'll get this trimmed up a little bit more, and then this is going on the mac and cheese. This might be the most fantastic thing that I've ever made. It's possible, but all right, we're gonna eat a little bit of this, and then we'll plate it and go from there. But man, that turned out good. All right, we'll see you. Is it tender enough for you? Well, that's a little thick there. Let's do the pull test. Look at that. That muscle. Look at that. This is like falling apart in my hand. Oh my God. Let's see if, okay, let's cut that off. Now we do the bend test. Yeah. That's tender. That's tender. I am pleased. I am very pleased. Oh my God. I'm happy. Okay, bye-bye. All right, here we go. We're ready to start plating here. G is snagging something. I got my buddy Skylar over too. So, here baby, why don't you take over? So, show you what we got going on. Now it's just, fuck. We'll grab this guy. So, oh my, that's some thickums. That's some thickums. All right. So let's get the hunk of mac and cheese. Get that going on in there. Now I'm not gonna forget these little guys that are hiding at the bottom. You gotta have that too. All right, we got that. We're gonna do a little portion of our caramelized shallot as well. So a little bit on there. Yeah, maybe a little more. There you go. Because that's nice and sweet. And what are we doing for brisket? We'll do a decent hunk. We'll go like that. And we're gonna need the Sweet Baby Ray's too, because this barbecue is just perfect for it. And this is a no sugar added kind. It's really good. And there we go. I'm not gonna do anything else fancy for it, but that's what you get. Grab a fork. And actually, I'll grab 2 forks. I'll give one to each of you. And then, who's ever gonna stab this shit first? It's all you. Oh, there you go.
I ain't playing around.
I'll let him get into it.
All right, you gotta give us an impression. What do you think? How did I do?
Gotta get a little bit of everything in
Yeah,
here.
don't get the scallops.
I think you kind of buried that under there, bro. We gonna get
It's
some.
under the brisket. She's there.
I think I got a little bit of everything.
Fire.
That's perfect. A little bit of tang from the barbecue. That ooey gooey from the mac. A little crunch from it too.
So that's a success.
That is definite success.
Hell yeah.
I would smash that whole bowl right now. No be.
That's kind of the plan.
I'm not gonna curse because I want to get monetized. But,
I can't even speak. I just need another bite.
All right.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Thank you.
Those are not exactly small portions, so you know.
No, not at all. But we're good.
All right. So let's see here. I know Jenna likes her mac and cheese, so I'll give her a little extra there. Oh boy, get in the bowl. Your crispy kind of went on the bottom, but you know, I think you'll be all right. Okay. So that in there. Get your caramelized shallot. Get your brisket. Get you the barbecue, which we're about to run out of. So
I don't need a lot of them.
well. All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna make my plate because I gotta eat too. But I think there's a consensus that this has been a success.
Definitely success.
It's been 11 hours. 11 hours since I started this project. But it's worth it. So that's all I got for you. I'm gonna go eat. So, all right. Thanks a lot. You go away now.